from kind of bad organizations off the field to some bad calls on the field here. To start the 2021 MLB season, we have seen a lot of not so great replays and the replay review system here in Major League Baseball. I mean, we saw the Phillies Braves game, we saw the Red Sox Twins, we saw the Mets Marlins. There's countless other examples of teams going to review, and just, I guess, the replay system in general here in Major League Baseball has just been a serious issue. So, Ryan, I'm gonna go to you here. What's wrong with this replay system, and do you think there can be things that could be done to improve it?
Yeah, I have a few, but it's just also weird to think about. Like, at the same time, the really solution just be get better. Like, they just have to get better at reviewing. But, you're seeing games decided on, missed calls, and that's one thing. But then when you review the missed call and you keep it, you uphold it, it is really like, what's the point here? We're going to waste this time and we're not even going to get the call right. Why even have replay? I do think it's necessary for the game. I'm glad that, it's kind of Bud Selig's last kind of move was to enact replay. And I do think it's good overall. But one thing I think you need is transparency, whether that's with the the head umpire mic'd up or something like that. Maybe you bring in someone in the booth or something like that. You need some kind of transparency. You need to know what their thought process is. I've seen some other kind of suggestions where you have the people reviewing it not know the call on the field, which I don't know if that works, but I think that's interesting. Maybe you could try it at the lower levels or something, because I see a lot of times it's too close and they'll just keep the call. But if you don't know what the call is, that would change your interpretation. For me, I know a lot of people complain about the time, but my thought is always, if they're getting it right, I don't care. I'm not a pace of play guy, but I know that is an issue. But if they're not getting it right, I absolutely care. If you're going to, ruin the rhythm of the game and you're not even going to get it right, why do it? So I do think they have to look at this review process. They need to shore it up. They need to get better at the end of the day, because, it is concerning, and it's not a great part of baseball how you're having games lost that should be won, and you're having missed calls all over the place, and replay should be getting rid of that element. And it's not so far. So I do think you need to change it. And I don't know of a perfect answer, but I do think the transparency is something that we'd all appreciate as fans.
To me, I think, like, as you said, there's two things I want to echo. First of all, the accuracy. Like, why? I feel like MLB is the one league where they get calls wrong, like, more than any other NFL or NBA. And, like, I don't understand why that's the case. Like, and that's like, that's what you have replay. And I don't know if that's just because the umpires maybe aren't trained better. I don't really know the situation. It just makes no sense. I mean, I don't understand why, like, I think it was Alex Bone being called safe at home plate. I mean, I can tell it, and I'm not a trained umpire. So why are they? It just, to me, it makes, like, those calls just, to me, is like, you just roll your eyes. And then I don't know why umps aren't mic'd up. Like, why isn't that the case? They are in football. It works out perfectly. We all know the call. And yeah, sometimes, you look at those refs and sometimes their calls are a little roundabout and they don't make a lot of sense, but at least you kind of hear their thought process. In the MLB, they just go, they point and they say safe, and that's it. And then it's like, or point out. Okay. And then it's just like, you don't know why. And, sometimes even, like, I was watching the Mets game and it was like on a double play and they were reviewing it, and no one knew if they were reviewing if he was touching second base or if the slide went too wrong. So no one even knows what you're reviewing either, which, to me, obviously the teams know, but as a fan, you would like to know that. So it's like those kind of things is something that, I would try to fix. And just, like, one more thing would be, like, I don't like how, you're supposed to have two challenges or one challenge. And if you get the second one, if you get it right, you get the second one. And I don't love that, like, you get to a certain point in the game, the team just asks for a review and they get it automatically, and then, which is, you kind of makes sense, but, like, why you have the rule in place then is basically just unlimited challenges. So to me, it's just, like, wonky, and there are a few things that have to get worked out. And, like, when you have a replay system and blatant calls are not being changed, is really the biggest problem here. And, from there, I guess these are little things that I'm talking about, but I think they can help the overall process.
Yeah, you guys both mentioned it. It's outrageous to get calls wrong when you go to replay. Just simply get very easy calls
ones
wrong. And I think, I don't see that being an issue going forward. I assume that, I don't know, maybe they'll train umps better, but they'll just decide to make the right calls. This isn't a problem in any other league, like you said, Andrew. So I don't know if that'll be an issue, but I think it does help us look at the replay system in general and make improvements. And I think microphones on the umpires is a huge one, because if you're in if you're in the stands or if you're watching the game on the TV, you are basically have no idea, and you leave the commentators up to just speculate about what's going on, what they're even reviewing in some instances. And that's just not good. I mean, that's just going to make for some issues already off the bat. If the umpires are making wrong calls, but are at least transparent about it, it's a little bit better because you at least understand what's going on at the very least. And I guess maybe we need to work on getting umpires that can make the right calls. But at the very least, at least talking through it, talking to the audience with the microphone is huge. And I read something else. I'm not going to take credit for this. But I saw someone write about an idea for putting earpieces in the umpires instead of having to run all the way over to the dugout to put those big headphones on. And that takes I don't know, it seems like it takes an eternity with these umpires running over there and back. Putting a little earpiece on, so it makes it a lot more simple. They can go to New York very, very quickly. They can get the call very quickly, and they don't even have to leave their spot. They can make the call right away. And I know, Ryan, you said you aren't a big pace of play person, but I am, to be honest. And for me, you mentioned it, Andrew, too, limiting some of these replay opportunities, or if you're going to limit it, you might as well limit it stricter than it is now. I feel like some of these calls, I will say, in the third inning where the guy's foot is a millimeter off second base in a double play in April, I get very frustrated. I don't think that's the reason we chose to do replay. I don't think that's the reason we need replay. I don't know how you can kind of get around that. That I guess that's kind of an issue that once you have replay, you're going to use it for those instances. I just don't like that. I find that frustrating. Maybe regular season, you can limit challenges towards later in the game when the call is a lot more important. Come playoff time, I don't think there should be as strong of a limit just because it's a very important game. Every game is. So you need to get the call right. That's the bottom line. But in April, in May, early in the season, I think there should be some sort of limit on these challenges, a lot stronger than it is, just to kind of avoid the dull kind of sitting there waiting while these guys hear from New York and try and get the call. And then sometimes they don't even get it right. So, I mean, bottom line, I think a lot needs to be done with this replay system. And it makes me think almost of a better way, of a future of maybe robo umpires. Everybody's had this conversation. I like it. I think it makes sense, but obviously that's a conversation. I guess we could talk about that forever. That maybe that's a conversation for another time, but certainly a lot needs to be done about this replay system for sure.
Yeah, I just love talking baseball. I gotta say that's the one thing we talked about it through